So Doctor Who hasn't been on the air for a whole calendar week. Can you believe it?
Can't believe it.
Are people still talking about it?
No, not really.
Is that concerning?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. I just wanted you to say roll the intro.
Roll the intro.
Okay, cool.
Hello and welcome back to Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast. My name is Troy, his name is Crispy, and we are the hotline that accept your calls throughout all of time and space. And today, we're doing a retrospective. Oh, Crispy, have you missed doing these? I've missed doing them.
I can't believe we're here, to be honest.
Crazy.
What a journey. Congratulations, Troy. We reviewed our first full season of Doctor Who.
Congratulations to you as well.
These episodes. I can't believe it.
In fact, you know what, Crispy? Round of applause. Just for both of us.
Somebody's got the soundboard today.
Somebody's got the soundboard, baby.
Some cheeky
Somebody's got
boy.
the soundboard. Oh, God, yeah. So we basically agreed between us now. Every week we're going to alternate between who has control of the soundboard because I didn't like how much power Crispy had. Someone has to fight
It went
against
straight
him,
to my head.
Yeah, it did. You know, it's troubling. No, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to do our looking back on for season 1. If you're newer to the podcast, we used to do this for every modern series of Doctor Who, but we went through them all because we've been chatting on this podcast for over 2 years. It's a bit insane to think. It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. But there is a playlist on YouTube. I should mention this. We do have a playlist for specifically that series. If you want to hear us talk about past series, feel free to do so. It includes the infamous Series 6 episode where it took us an hour to get into talking about Doctor Who. Mainly because we're talking about Pale Waves, who, by the way, have just announced their new UK tour today, Crispy, so get ready for that. We're
not having a repeat of the Series 6 episode. It was hijacked. One of my favourite seasons of Doctor Who. Taken away from me.
It was all part of the plan. So, we are here to take your calls about Season 1 of Doctor Who for 2024. And for context, if this isn't edited at all and you notice any little things and sounds, it's because we're recording this 18 hours before you hear it. So, yeah. Crispy was very busy starting his new job. I was at a convention for the weekend, meeting a bunch of people from Star Wars, so that was very cool. Maybe we'll talk about that later, but we ain't really got time now. So I'm going to edit this as quick as I can. So if there's anything wrong with it, then blame Sutek. So, Crispy, should we take a caller?
Yeah, please.
Is there anyone you'd like to take, or shall I pick since I've got control?
Buzzing. I can't read. I haven't got my reading glasses on.
We did just put sunglasses on in your room at, 9:20 p.m, so I'm not surprised you can't see.
Let's hear from Sutek the Destroyer.
All right, well, we did say Sutek's the one to blame for the podcast, so let's see what Sutek's got to say about Season 1 of Doctor Who.
You have reached the voicemail of Ncuti the Destroyer. If this is Crispy and Troy from the Who's There podcast, hear this. I was not truly represented in the Time Lord's latest escapade, and I shall be pressing galactic charges against those insolent, grovelling insects who dared contain the might of Ncuti. If this is my cleaner, make sure that hand has disappeared from my cushion when I return, or I shall shred your nervous system into 1,000,000 fibers. Thank you.
I love Sutek.
What a great recap of Season 1 of Doctor Who.
Season 1. I think, Sutek wasn't happy with how they were depicted. They were the big bad. I think it's nice that they called in.
I think they kind of destroyed our momentum there.
Oh, that's all right. Let's take a more recent one.
It is after the Season 1 call started, so I don't know what happened there. But either way, thank you, Sutek, for calling in.
Thank you,
just try and be a bit more on topic next time, will you, please?
You. On top of it? On top of the TARDIS?
Be on topic, but the
top
ick
of the TARDIS
is
to
of
you.
the TARDIS. Shut up. Coraline, what have you got for us?
Bold statement, but I loved this season. I loved how weird and experimental it was. I was worried when Disney got involved that it would get all smoothed out and straightforward and boring, but it didn't. And so even though everything was not perfect or to my taste, I'm actually all right with that. Also, Ncuti's performances was a highlight. And another bold statement, but for season 3, I would actually be ready to try a new showrunner.
Oh,
Whoa.
that was quite a nice chill call until the very end, where she turned into Christopher Eccleston and said, "Sack Russell T Davies, sack Julie Gardner."
And I'll come back. Wow.
Have we got that on the soundboard? Just thought.
No, but we should. There's a million things we should have on the soundboard.
We'll add some more things.
Yeah, crikey. Okay. Well, I mean, great segue. Troy, should we discuss our thoughts on this season of Doctor Who?
Troy's thoughts? I said I was going to make a video and then just didn't do it. So yeah, we probably need Troy's thoughts.
You should have. People are desperate.
I might still do it. You never know. Yeah, so... Well, it's quite an interesting thing, because yesterday it was tweeted, I think, by one of the big Doctor Who fan accounts, I think it was Safe Space Who, was tweeting that it had been 17 years since Martha made her exit in Series 3. And I think that kind of sparked a bit of, discussion about companion exits, things like that. And it made me think a lot about Russell series in general and where I rank them. And also our lovely Discord server, which you can join, link in the YouTube description, was talking about best Russell T Davies seasons as well. So I think a good question for you, Crispy, is how would you rank all 5 Russell T Davies series, best to worst?
Oh my gosh. Oh my... What?
For the sake of numbering, we're going to refer to Season 1 as Series 14 here, because it will make the numbers a bit clearer.
Okay.
What would you do?
Oh, dude, that's tough. Just personally, it doesn't even make sense. Let's put 2 down the bottom. Series 2 down the bottom. For me.
Okay.
Above Series 2, I will put Series 14.
Okay.
And then above that, Series 1. And then above that, Series 4. And then above that, Series 3. Okay?
Series 3 above Series 4.
I've just got it's just a personal thing. I know if I did the math and I rated each episode out of 10, then Series 4 would come out on top. But there's a little bit of magic with Series 3.
Au contraire,
and I think it will prevail.
You think I judge? I am actually impressed. That is a cool take. I love
good day
Series
to you,
3.
Sir. Good day to you, sir.
Yeah. I am complimenting you. Haha. Interesting. So we have similar lines, but not quite. So for me,
okay, let's
fly
go.
in my room. Oh no, it's a piece of fluff. Why is there a piece of fluff flying around my room? Okay, whatever. Clearly, being gone for a weekend means that my room just descended into dust. Dust of death, perhaps you might say.
Yes, very good. He brought it back.
I'm going to go top to bottom. So at the top for me is Series 4. Next down, Series 3. Next down, Series 1. Next down, Series 2. At the bottom, I'm putting Series 14. I'm going to be real with you. Like, Series 2 is the weakest of Russell's first era seasons, but I don't think I have the strength in me to say the new series was better than that. I just don't think I do.
Scenario, let's say he nailed the finale. What would you have put it then?
I still think I'd be hard pressed to put it above 2, I'll be honest. And the weird thing is, as you said with 4 and 3, objectively going episode to episode, I'd probably say Series 14 is better than at least Series 2. But I have a few issues with it, and one thing was something that I touched on last week that I definitely wanted to talk about now, which is there just were not enough episodes. This is like a really hot debate that everyone's got their thoughts on, and you got some people saying, yeah, there weren't enough episodes. And you got some people saying, there were enough episodes, it's just what they did with them wasn't right, blah, 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 blah. I think it's both. I think there weren't enough episodes at their very core. For me personally, what I love about Doctor Who is spending a decent amount of time, like 12, 13 weeks, really when it was the best, and spending that time just with the Doctor and the Companion. There doesn't even have to be conflict. I mean, there should be. But just having a longer amount of time to get used to that relationship, to know every week, I'm tuning in with them for this week. And so across the span of 12 weeks, with 13 episodes, you'd get all of that. Whereas with Series 14, there were 8 episodes, 2 released on the same day. So you've got a span of 6 weeks to get used to them. Half of the original Russell T Davies run. So you're spending half as much time getting used to them. So when it comes to an end and one of them leaves, you don't feel it as much, even if, as I've said, the exit scene for Ruby was really well done. I really enjoyed it. I don't feel like I spent enough time with the characters. And within the episodes themselves, it was very much just them going on adventures, and there wasn't much development between them, I don't think, personally. So purely because there was a lot more of that and better done in Series 2, I can't put Series 14 above it. Those are my thoughts.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's definitely a mixed bag. Okay, that's interesting. I think there were enough episodes. I'm with that camp saying there were enough episodes. They just didn't know what to do with them.
True.
Than some of Russell's previous work, and in 5 episodes, he was able to make me cry my heart out. And I'm just seeing here that it had an upwards trend in viewership. That's interesting.
It's interesting.
But, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think purely the fact that Ncuti wasn't available for when they shot 73 Yards and Dot and Bubble made... look, but they had some creative workarounds, and I know you're not the biggest fan of 73 Yards, but I enjoyed those creative workarounds, and I think it did more for Ruby's character than a lot of the other
same.
season. But
I've said this before, I love what they did with Ruby in that episode. I just don't really like how the episode came to an end.
Yeah, well, I wish it never came to an end, because it's a masterpiece.
I wish this conversation would come to an end. But the interesting point you say about Into Sin, for me, there's 2 different reasons that you can get really attached to characters. It's through really good writing, or it's through spending a lot of time with them. It can be both. It can be one or the other. I was upset at Ruby's exit because of how well written it was, much like I was upset at the end of It's a Sin because of how well written it was. I wouldn't come out of It's a Sin and say I got so attached to these characters because I spent so much time watching them. I would say I got so attached to these characters because they were so well written and their relationships were so well written, and that the culmination of that was heartbreaking. Whereas with this season, like the exit scene was very, very well written, but if I look at it objectively, there wasn't a lot to get them to that point, like interpersonally.
No,
they barely had any scenes in the
absolutely
TARDIS.
not.
There was no conflict.
It was weird.
We kept
It's weird
theorising
that
there'd be
happened.
some kind of crossed wires between them about the nicety where he went back to 2004 to the church. There'd be something to create conflict there.
God, that would have been a brilliant finale. Imagine that scenario for Empire of Death. Maybe we talked about this. Did we talk about this?
I don't know. It was a long episode, in fairness.
They seemed way too okay with the world being they were sad, obviously, but I would have loved to have just a proper argument in the memory TARDIS being about everything that's happened. There needed to be some kind of emotional payoff because Ruby and the Doctor, they're very much bestie energy, but besties fight all the time. Let them fight. Anyway. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, we fight every 3 days.
I know, and we're besties, bro.
Actually, wait, hang on. We've got
character development.
2 minutes to go until our next scheduled fight, so, be ready.
Oh gosh, alright. Hey Siri, set timer.
Yeah, there wasn't enough conflict for me. I don't know. So, there are objectively some fantastic episodes. I adore Boom, I adore Rogue. I do still think there's a funny comment to be made about how the 2 episodes I love most in this series weren't written by Russell, which is coming from someone who, showrunner-wise, my favourite showrunner is Russell. My favourite writer is Stephen Moffat, but my favourite showrunner is Russell. I think his attitude to showrunning is probably my favourite. But I just don't know. It's tough, because I said this again last week. There are some things that are going to overlap here, but when the 60th anniversary specials came out, I watched those 3 and was like, this is exactly what I love about Doctor Who. Russell's come back. It's like he's never left. These are fantastic. I know you don't love The Giggle as much as I do. For me, that's become one of my favourite episodes of the show. I blooming love how that episode's done. And I was like, great, we need that energy in Series 14. And I just don't feel like we ever got that energy. Now, I know part of it is like, oh, well, those were anniversary celebrations, blah, 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 blah. Or maybe because David Tennant was there, it's nostalgia. But I do think, objectively, even from a writing standpoint, what was in the 60th was just stronger, for me, anyway.
Agree. I'll agree with that. Yeah, as you said, there are a lot of different factors that go into how, a 60th special would be different to a full series of Doctor Who. But my goodness, this series was really not what we expected, was it, Troy? How weird! It's so funny to look back because Space Babies concerned me. Space Babies
it did.
It was
the only episode you did a review video on. The rest you went live.
Yeah,
but no, you were like, I need to make a video on this one.
I could not believe it. Anyway, so but then,
in fact, funny to think about with Space Babies. Even though that wasn't the best series opener, it had the best Dr. Ruby scenes, I would say.
Yeah,
because you actually had interactions with them.
But there wasn't any more of that in the series.
Exactly. It was like he front-loaded it and went, that'll do for the series.
That'll do. Seeing the finale. It's odd. It is odd. But I think that there were some pretty, strong swings a few misses and some hits. I think Boom and Rogue, as you say, I'll love them forever. They weren't written by Davies, but even Dot and Bubble in 73 Yards, especially 73 Yards, for me, I bloomin' love.
Yeah.
So that's half a series of some of the best Doctor Who I've seen in forever. So, but then we get in. Devil's Court is fun. Space Baby's not a fan, and the 2-part finale didn't quite. It's just the finale. I feel like if the finale landed on a higher note, I think I would have enjoyed this series much more. But it's just left such a sour note on my palate, and it makes me sad. I've only watched it the once. I haven't gone back to rewatch it. Because
that's another thing. I've not rewatched. I've rewatched every episode like at the time that it's come out. Like I've watched every episode once or twice during their release week, other than 73 Yards, which I've only seen the one time. I still haven't brought myself to watch that again. I will do soon, but like as an objective rewatch now, going back, I'm not interested in rewatching any of them anytime soon. But like, if
any
you go,
of the
do you want to put on
episodes?
Doctor? I'll put on any of Series 14s. I wouldn't rewatch any of them. I'm not right now. But
I'll watch fun stuff.
for something like Boom, that's because I've seen it a few times. It's fantastic, but I don't need to keep watching it. For the others, I'm like, I'm not interested. You asked me to put like the giggle or something on, I'll go, yeah, great, I'll do that. But not Series 14. I don't know.
Yeah.
But let's see what I'll call this thing. Let's get another one in, shall we, Crispy?
Go on.
Well, you know what I spotted? We have our Jason from the States, who's super high energy, but now we've got someone who's trying to fight with him. We've got Eric in the US.
Eric in the US.
So, what's Eric in the US got to say? Not Eric the Space Baby, I imagine.
Oh, maybe it is.
Maybe it is. Eric, what do you got to say?
Hey guys, first time, long time. The one thought I really want to give is that I feel like we only got 2/3 of a season. Part of that's only having the 8 episodes, 9, I guess, if you count the first one. But there's just so many things that seem to not pay off or didn't pay off enough. There's the weird line about 6 months of traveling, but Ruby's on her first planet. There's the flashback conversation with Carla that's out of nowhere. And that final line about you changed how I look at family. Well, apparently your granddaughter, your wife, Amy, Rory, Donna, Wilf. I mean, come on.
Very good points. Very, very good points. Yeah, there were some weird little plot threads that I'm sure Big Finish will have a lot of fun with in 15 years' time.
Yes, they will.
Yeah, okay. It's actually quite hard to pinpoint exactly how this series would have been improved. It's just a really weird mixed bag. It's not bad, but it's not fantastic. Maybe it's our expectations that were the problem.
I don't know if it was expectations. I mean, he mentions Boom. That's a good segue into a really important thing we have to discuss, Crispy. You know, a very important topic we have to discuss.
Boom?
Our Patreon. Oh. Zing! Oh. We'll make this very quick, but just to keep you all updated, if you don't support us over on the Patreon page, feel free to go and check it out, patreon.com/who'stheredw. We are doing some benefits like early access to episodes. This one wasn't because we're still getting used to it, but it will be going forward again now. Early access to episodes for the bottom tier. Middle tier is currently Doctor Who episode watch-alongs, but we're changing that. We're behind 2 months because of, obviously, the Season 1 antics, so we're going to be releasing 2 watch-alongs this month, Boom and Empire of Death. So if you want to watch along to those with your own reference footage, you can. Crispy, can you give us the 20-second elevator pitch as to what the middle tier of patrons can expect after those watch-alongs have debuted?
Oh my goodness. Well, I've been thinking, what else can we add to our beautiful catalogue over on the Patreon? And I don't know if you know, but Troy has a substantial following in the gaming community. And Doctor Who has some games as well. So I thought, what better than playing some games with my bestie Troy? And I thought it might be fun if we play the adventure games, because that was the first ever video I put out on Crispy Pro. So there's a lot of good reasoning here as to why we should do it. Them. And Troy hasn't played them, and I knew that fully. I knew that he hadn't played the adventure games at all. And that's what we're going to be playing. So it's going to be a lovely game playthrough with your boys. So it's
going to be a weekly series. We're going to split it up into small chunks, and maybe 10, 15 episode chunks a week, so you can kind of have something to come back to every week. But that'll be for the middle tier. So obviously higher tier.
10, 15-minute episodes a week. Yeah,
exactly.
You said 10, 15 episodes a week, and I was like, that's a lot of output, Troy.
Oh, sorry, wording. There you go. I'd say I just woke up, but it's midday, and I haven't just woke up. I was watching The Walking Dead with my mum. We're having a binge of that. It's so good. I love that show.
That's so good, dude.
Also, in case you don't know, top tier then of the patrons get to call in exclusively during live episodes, which happen at the end of every month.
Yes,
the last couple of months, we let everyone call in because it was season episodes, but it's going back to just patrons for their lives.
So it's a good time to jump on the Patreon. Go on.
But of course, if you can't afford to support us or don't want to, that's fine. Just listen to the episodes. We love you anyway. So, point being, Eric's made a couple of really good points here, and it ties into an argument that I teased with you last week, Crispy, and I didn't properly get into, but I want to give us a bit more time for it here. Eric just said that it feels like we got 2/3 of a season. I would argue it feels like less. Now, there are a couple of reasons for this. For one thing, episode count. 8 episodes, which is nearly half of what we had in an original Doctor Who series. So it already, by its very nature, feels like there's less Doctor Who going on. Now, granted, that's been a gradual decline anyway. We had 13 for David Tennant and Matt, 12 for Capaldi, 10 for Whittaker, 8 now for Gatwa. Fine, it's been a gradual decline. But comparatively, especially now you've got the same showrunner that we had when it was 13, now it's 8. You notice that difference, or at least I do. On top of that, you've got a whole range of mysteries that either weren't answered or are going to be answered. Why was it snowing around Ruby? Probably not going to be answered. Why was the figure being so cloaked in the Church of Ruby Road? That wasn't really very well explained. I mean, they say they make her a mystery because she's important, but there are plot holes around that. Mr. TARDIS did a great thread on Twitter recently that debunked a whole bunch of things and said these are loads of theories that weren't answered. So there's a bunch of plot holes there. But also there's things that haven't been paid off yet that have been set up, like who is Mrs. Flood? What's going on there? And what really, really sold it for me was during the episode commentary for Empire of Death, Russell talked about how they were commissioned for 2 series. And he took that perhaps a little bit too literally, but in some ways I think it might pay off. Because he has said he's set up storylines to play out across those 2 seasons. He doesn't want everything to be wrapped up by his first one. He wants it to be a 2-season story. And so what I'm looking at right now is once season 15 is done and out in a year's time, how are we going to feel about the 2 seasons as a collective package? Because to me, I visualize it like your favourite series, Series 6. Because Series 6 was split into 2 chunks, you had 7 episodes, and then you had another 6. And within those first 7 episodes, you set up some things, paid off some things. Who was River Song? We finally found out who River Song was. But the Doctor died. They haven't answered how the Doctor's died. How are we going to account for the Doctor being killed? What's happening there? Well, that's answered in the next 6 chunks of episodes. If you review Series 6 Part 1, if that had released as its own series, it'd have the same kind of criticism that this is getting right now, where you go, not everything's been answered, why have we got to wait another series? And then once Series 6 Part 2 came out, if that had been another season, you'd go, well, combining these together, it makes a much better picture. And I wonder if the same thing's going to happen here between season 14 and 15. Once we've got those 2 seasons, and we know there's going to be more Ruby, we know we'll probably get the answer to Mrs. Flood, because Series 3 hasn't even been commissioned yet. If he's going to tie Mrs. Flood into season 3, then he's really pushing it. I'm assuming he's going to tie it up by season 2. How will we feel as a whole picture? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, Crispy. Your thoughts?
Wow, he's done well. Give yourself a round of applause, Troy. That was.
Where's the clapping? Where's the clapping? Where's the clapping? I can't find it. I can't
very
find
well
it.
put.
I don't know where it's gone. I'm losing the moment. There it is.
You
Found
don't.
it.
Oh, thank goodness.
Thank you.
Thank you for attending Troy's TED Talk there. Very well put. I love your hypothesis. So, what did Russell say that on?
The episode commentary for Empire of Death.
The episode commentary for Empire of Death. That's that's the platform in which he half mentioned that, it kind of could be, we could see this as a part 1 and then series 2 will be part 2.
He didn't say that. That's my he only said that he set some things that will be answered in season 2 because it was a 2-season order.
Exactly. So my little marketing brain
Pony?
just goes not My Little Pony. My little marketing brain goes, what on earth? So we're going to set up the premiere of this series, which is already a confusing reboot because we had the 60th specials and then we had the Church on Ruby Road and then it came to this massive marketing push for Disney Plus and they moved the Christmas special to episode 1 and then you had Space Babies and the Devil's Court. So it was all like, it was a bit hectic, and then you have that finale that leaves a lot of things unanswered. I don't know. I feel like my biggest concern with how I think this series dropped the ball is that I don't think it's very accessible. I don't know.
No, it's not.
Ncuti is fantastic. I think the cast is great. The show's never looked better. But I feel weird. I really thought that Russell, I said it in my video, wasn't going to pull back his punches, was just going to kind of, I don't know, man. I can't even word together. It's such a weird feeling, this series, because there's so much stuff I like, but there's just some bizarre things that happen. Some really bizarre, and some unanswered questions that I think are going, like, the casual view, if they watch this whole series, I don't know if they'd be satisfied by the end. I just don't.
For me, I like, you pick out different episodes and you go, these are all good, but like cohesively, they don't blend well. And I can't shake the feeling, I really can't, that a lot of it comes down to the lack of episodes. I do think what could have been done within them could have been better, definitely. There could have been more conflict, there could have been more Dr. Ruby moments, but I think having more time would also lend that. If you think about Series 3, Legend of Ruby Sunday is the equivalent of 42. Martha's nowhere near developed and had her full character arc in those 7 episodes, and then imagine she'd be going straight into the finale the next week. Like, think about all the good that she had with the Family of Blood storyline.
Flux is 6 episodes, right?
And let's face it, as much as I love Dan didn't exactly have a character arc in that. Let's be real here.
No, he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page because he's that undeveloped. But that's okay. I think you can have a perfect season of Doctor Who with 8 episodes. I truly believe that exists. I truly believe there is a timeline in which 8 episodes of Doctor Who can be enough to suffice everything. I really don't believe the narrative that if there were 10 episodes in this series, it might, for this series in particular, maybe if they had
for the way this was written now, but
10,
you are right,
10 extra minutes
you can get it with 8.
Yeah, but for this series, sure. For this series, sure. I think maybe it should have had longer episodes, but I don't know. Next season's 8 episodes.
It's a weird one,
so
isn't
we'll
it?
see how we go.
Well, neither of us are sat here going, this was a bad series. Neither of us are going, like, this was rubbish or I hated it. We both liked it. We just don't love it. And it's interesting to kind of talk about that. Which, by the way, we should have said by this point, nothing against Ncuti and Millie. They were fantastic.
No, yeah, I think we've been nitpicking. I'm sorry if we've come in with a negative tone, everyone.
We have,
I think as the finale is still fresh in our brain. But, man, like, I had a lot of fun with it. It was nice, getting up on a Saturday morning and watching my favourite show ever. Troy and I are just very passionate about this show. And, it takes up far too much space in our lives. But I think, I don't know. I could go... I'm going in circles here, man. I'm going in circles.
All right, Post Malone, let's take another caller then. So, say Harry, what have you got to say?
Hi, I'm Harry, and I enjoyed the season, but I don't know if it met all my expectations. Like, I wanted Sean Pertwee to play the 3rd Doctor, I wanted the 14th Doctor to come back, I wanted Christopher Eccleston to come back, I wanted Matt Smith to come back, I wanted Clara Oswald to come back, I wanted Rose Tyler to come back, I wanted the Trickster to be the villain, I wanted Jodie Whittaker to be Ruby's mum, I wanted Banner Cavalata to come back, and I wanted Carol from the Council to come back, but I guess Russell was just a terrible writer and he just didn't know to bring them back.
I think Harry's absolutely on the money, and they should have taken, some advice from Marvel, and if it's not working, cameo. Just have a
Cameos,
cameo.
man. Cameos.
Just have a cameo. Can you imagine the finale plays out exactly as it is, but the nice woman at the end of the universe is Jodie Whittaker? 10 out of 10 episode. 10 out of 10.
No.
That is a perfect episode.
Stop.
Perfect
Not even for
episode
a
of
joke
Doctor
am I
Who.
entertaining that. No. I thought it was really interesting when he first said Sean Pertwee playing the 3rd Doctor, because I was like, it was meant to be remember when the rumour was meant to be it was a 3rd Doctor story tie-in?
We never talked about it, but did we talk about it? I'm not quite sure.
I think we briefly mentioned it, that it was supposedly going to be tied to a 3rd Doctor story.
Never, it ended up being a 4th Doctor story. The big tie-in. But no, that never came to fruition. So it is nice that some things that leak are untrue, because I'm sure you saw the tweet the other day. You finally read the leak, the massive leak from the 60th specials and the Christmas special. How much was spoiled, my man? Much.
So I saw one leak, and I can't remember what it was for, because I think it was Dr. Master sent the leak once we'd seen the episodes, one of our members in the Discord server.
Oh, that's right.
And I remember reading that and being like, oh wow, yeah, this is a big leak, but it wasn't the main one. And I saw it yesterday because someone put it up as a joke, being like, retweet this to scare a Doctor Who fan, because most people had seen it. I read through it, and that leak literally explained the entire plot of the Church on Ruby Road, the Star Beast, and the Giggle in random orders. There were a couple of things that weren't quite right or badly explained, but like overall, the entire plot was pretty much just nailed in those.
I could not believe it. I was
insane.
Shocked.
Yeah, like that's mad to think that was leaked so well. I can't believe that.
But I mean, well done for season 1 not having that many leaks. So good for you. Good for
Maybe
you.
because people who leaked 60th looked at series 1 and went, "That's not worth leaking."
I do remember. Well, like when they started filming season 1, I was like on the hunt for some information, and I remember them. They were the first day they were filming Dot and Bubble, like Ncuti first day filming, when they were at that little what is it called? The little boat port. What is that
Cardiff
called?
dock or something? Yeah.
Yeah, the dock. I remember they were filming there, and they're like Ncuti there, and I was like, oh, I wonder what scene they're filming there. But yep, and then 2 years later, it came to fruition.
It's one of his best scenes.
It's one of his best goddamn scenes. So shout out to Ncuti for doing that on his first day as well. You king.
Yeah, which, speaking of, you kind of touched on it, and we should really acknowledge it. I do think another important part is that Ncuti was only really in about 3/4 of the series. Like, you can count Dot and Bubble if you want, because he's there over, like, computer, and yeah, sure, I'd count that, and I really like Dot and Bubble. But in terms of actually being there and being involved physically in the narrative, running around, doing things, getting into scrapes, he's only doing that for 3/4 of the series, which at that point then is 6 episodes. Like, imagine if Flux had been Jodie Whittaker's first Doctor Who series, you wouldn't feel like you got used to her Doctor enough, would you?
Very good point. Very good point. Well,
see,
put,
you used
Troy.
the Flux argument in one way. I'm spinning it back and throwing it back at you there, buddy.
Mate, Flux. I was trying to make I was going to swear with Flux, but I thought that'd be too rude.
Well, you really fluxed up that joke, didn't you?
There we go. Thank
next
you,
up
Troy.
in our callers, let's go. Who have we got? What about Lord Byron?
Lord Byron? I hope this is right.
Oh, is this a good one?
I don't know, man. Let's go.
Let's find out. Lord Byron.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Lord Byron. It's a privilege to indirectly make your acquaintance. Season 1. It was good, but alas, not amazing. A season could probably be done well in just 8 episodes, but Ncuti being absent for a great deal of 2 definitely diminished the show's ability to build a more believable history between the Doctor and Ruby. Also, I would have preferred to have at least one more 2-parter. I love a cliffhanger. Anyway, thank you for your time, and good day to both of you.
Good day,
That's
Lord
another
Byron.
thing I wanted to mention. I think another thing that comes along having extra episodes is also extra 2-part stories.
Yeah,
like,
the art of the 2-parter is quite nice, isn't it?
And it's just gone. We haven't had a mid-season, like without not counting mid-season finales, we haven't had a 2-parter during a series since series 6. No, yes, we have. Yes, in series 6.
What do you mean? A 2-parter?
A 2-parter that's not the finale.
What do you mean? Before the flood type stuff?
Correct. Sorry, I will retract that statement in series 9.
God.
But before that, oh no, there was a 3-part in series 10. All right, fine. I had a great point there, and I've just completely lost it. But the point I was trying to make was they're scattered. You had a couple in the first half of series 6. I don't think you had any in the second half of series 6. None in series 7. Only the finale in series 8. Series 9, went a bit nuts on the 2-parters. I think that's probably why I forget about it in that sense, even though it's a good series. And then 10 had the Monks trilogy, okay, and then the 2-part finale. Like, a better point, let's say a better point that isn't wrong, like I just tried to be, was that there's not enough consistent cliffhangers in stories. And I think that was one thing I loved about Russell, was that in that first era, you kind of almost knew when there were going to be the 2-part stories, but it made it more fun because you had more weeks where you felt invested and you were like, oh, what's going to happen next week, rather than just another episode in this place next week. I like that extra amount of stakes. I thought that was cool, and I miss it. So,
Troy, if you have me as showrunner, would you be down for this series if I pitch this right now?
No.
Okay, cool.
I would say to you, if you want those ideas as they are, you need a longer series. Because to me, I think a good way to explain the episodes of season 1 is that it's combining experimental ideas that would show up across an entire showrunner's era Like Russell, imagine him having all these different ideas and dotting them across the first 4 series of his run. It's like taking all those ideas and going, let's put them into one season. They're all very isolated stories doing very different things. They don't connect very well together. And then there's a finale at the end of it. Like,
I just wanted to pitch something to you. Oh, I thought that was all you were saying. No, sorry, go on then. No, I was like, oh. No, all right, Troy. Would you enjoy a series like this? We take it kind of back to classic Doctor Who-y stuff, but do you think this could work? A 12 episode series.
I'm sold.
But it's
I'm sold.
It's
I'm
three.
sold.
It's 3 4-parters.
No.
Oh, okay. I think it could be sick.
Ooh. Well. This is coming from someone who hasn't seen a lot of classic Who. And I'll be honest with you, part of the thing that puts me off is that all the stories are quite spread out and over a lot of episodes.
Correct. And there are a lot of cliffhangers that are like, oh, how are we going to get out of this? And then they move to the next room.
Yeah, don't mistake me. I don't want every week to be a cliffhanger. I just miss the idea that you would have some stories that weren't a finale that left you on a knife's edge, and you were like, oh, how's this going to be wrapped up?
You don't want every week to be a cliffhanger? That's just life, my boy. Think about it.
You're trying to be... What are you trying to accomplish here, buddy?
Think about it.
But you make an interesting point. There is a middle ground to be achieved there. And what I was saying before I misunderstood what you were saying was that, yeah, it just... Season 1 is like a bunch of random ideas that was just kind of plunked together, and you've got objectively really good episodes, but I just don't feel like they mesh. I mean, I think it was Eric said, there's still that point of 6 months between Space Babies and the Devil's Cord, and then the next episode, her first alien planet. And you've got no TARDIS scenes between Devil's Cord and Empire of Death. You've got loads of these things that just don't connect well. And while you've got objectively some really good episodes, as a series, if we're talking objectively, I can't imagine myself ranking this series very high. There's great episodes, there's a great performance from both the Doctor and the Companion, but as a series, as a piece, I just don't know.
Shame.
This feels like therapy, man.
I don't know why. We should be more. I think if Rogue was the finale, I'd be like, yeah, great season. Fantastic.
Whoa, no.
Have you not heard that argument that people are saying that Rogue is like the spiritual finale? It's the finale in spirit.
No.
You can end there.
No. I wouldn't feel satisfied. Rogue's a phenomenal episode, but it's not a good finale. No.
Well, that's just my 2 cents.
A finale feels like, to me, a finale needs to connect together the pieces of the series, especially for Doctor Who. You need to connect everything together.
Does it? We haven't had a good finale since 2010.
Haven't we? Really?
Nah, we've had some perfect finale, let's say.
Okay, I tell you what, let's play a mini game.
1963.
Give me one word to describe each final episode of each series. Let's play a fun game. And you do it, Crispy. Okay? Let's have some intense music. And I know we have some. Where's the intense music?
Oh, I don't even know what it's called, dude, in the soundboard.
It's called intense music.
Oh, perfect.
Cue it.
Here we go.
Please.
Hello. We are live.
Crispy, what are you doing with the sound? Oh, there it is. Okay.
I can hear it.
Using only one word, Crispy, describe the parting of the ways.
Perfect.
Describe Doomsday.
Sad.
Describe Last of the Time Lords.
So good until the end.
I said one word, Crispy.
Oh. Confused.
Good, okay. Journey's End.
Final.
Oh, okay. The Big Bang.
Masterpiece.
The Wedding of River Song.
Hot trash. Trash.
The Name of the Doctor.
Yeah.
I like that, yeah. Underrated. Death in Heaven.
All right.
Hellbent.
Ooh.
The Doctor Falls.
Ouch.
Not again. We're not doing this joke again. We're not doing it again. The Battle of Ranskorav Kolos.
Skip.
So real. The Timeless Children.
Controversial.
The Vanquishers.
Leave.
Empire of Death.
Sad.
Okay.
But sad because of the episode, not the contents.
So if everyone can someone come up with a list, write these words down, and just look at the trend. And I just think that's interesting. Yeah, you were a lot positive about the first ones. Then as it went on, you kind of went, but I do like the love towards a couple in the middle though, like the 7, 8, 9. I like some of your words.
Maybe the
there.
Doctor is really fun. We could have a whole. Have we done an episode on finales? Have we done that? Have we done an episode on finales? I'm not quite sure.
I think we just backdoored our next episode next week.
What you? Oh.
Should we do that? We had a plan for next week's episode, but we could just change it.
No, I think there is a tier list. We should do that, but do a finale tier list. That'd be great.
Do you want to do that next week, or do you want to keep to our current idea?
Nah, well, that one can apply for weeks to come.
Okay,
So-
all right, we'll keep to our current plan then. You'll find out what that is in the next few minutes, folks. So, one more caller, 2 more callers. You feeling anyone in particular, Crispy?
Please. Just whatever one looks so nice. Whatever one looks very, very nice and kind.
Julia's looks nice because it's 27 seconds.
Beautiful.
Kept under 30.
Thank you.
Unlike some of you people. Ugh, no. I feel like I made this way too much of a joke. I really don't care if it's a bit over. It's only trying to keep to runtime. Julia, what have you got?
Julia here. I have to say I actually really, really, really enjoyed season 1. It was actually quite good. I enjoyed most of the episodes. I don't think any of them are below a 7 for me. So yeah, I think it was a very good introduction for new people in the show. Yeah. Very good.
Just goes to show you, for every opinion you have, someone will have a different one. And I love that.
Do we? Oh, we really should have done some research. I'd love to know the scores we put for every episode, so we could give our average for the season.
Oh, that would have been a really good idea. It's a shame we don't think ahead for these things.
That's okay. We'll tune in next week, folks, for the big reveal as to our.
You know what? I think I have. If I go to my Twitter, my tweet.
Oh yeah, you actually have.
I tweeted out each score. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
This is Troy looking at his Twitter, and I doubt that this will get edited, so we're going to fill for a bit. I hope you all enjoy the show. Troy, while you do that, tell me about AhsokaCon. What the heck have you been doing, boy?
Yeah, so AhsokaCon was the effective name that we gave it, which is, it was called Invasion 2024 in Birmingham. It's a Star Fury convention. It's basically one where it's all held within a hotel, and you stay there for the weekend in case you just get wrapped up in a whole bunch of con antics. And it was really, really cool. I really enjoyed it. Got to meet a few people out of Ahsoka, so
Awesome,
Sabine,
dude.
Ezra, Hera, Natasha Liu, Bordizzo, Emma Nesfandi, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. A few of the people that were in Andor. It was just a really, really good vibe, and I really enjoyed it. It was a different kind of con, but it was very, very fun. I can't find my Devil's Cord and Space Babies scores, but I know those, so that's fine.
So you have your scores?
I can't find my 73 yards one. Oh, yeah, there it is. There's 73 yards. Okay. I tweet so much
Oh,
rubbish.
you're telling me. You're telling me.
You're not supposed to agree with the rubbish
Only
bit.
thing on my feed.
You're not supposed to agree with the rubbish part, though. What the hell, man? What the hell?
Oh?
I can't believe you just did that. Okay, so let's
Here we
get
And then
my
next week you can get my
average
scores.
score. I'm going to use my calculator on my phone. So I gave Space Babies, I upped it to a 7, I think, by the end, because I rewatching it, I was like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So let's say I did that, and then I did 8 for Devil's Court, I'm pretty sure. So, I gave Boom a 10. I gave 73 Yards a 5.
Ooh,
I gave
so
Dot and
tense.
Bubble an 8. I gave Rogue a 10. I gave Legend of Ruby Sunday an 8. And I
Did
gave
you?
Empire of Death a 6. Yeah, I'm not going to count the 6.5. I'm going to keep it at 6. So that divided by 8, my average score for season 1 is 7.625. So let's call it 7.5 out of 10. That feels about apt. It's a season
Yeah,
that has
well-
some good stuff in it that I just think could have been a bit better.
Seems quite Roger apt. William?
Do you think your score's probably... Actually, to be fair, your
Mine would
score's
be-
probably higher. Because you don't have 75 yards weighing yours down, 73 yards weighing yours down. Yours is probably more like an average 8, I would say.
Yeah, but I gave Space Babies like a 6 being generous, and then the finale like a 5, didn't I? I don't know.
Well, maybe it'll balance out then. Maybe we're both about 7.5.
Ooh, well, you'll find out next week. Okay, so tune in,
When you
please.
do the maths. Watch him
When
forget.
I do the maths.
All right, let's take one final caller, one last
Please.
one, and let's wrap it up. So let's go with Sammy D. What's Sammy D got to say?
Hello.
Hello. I was a big fan of Series 1. It gave me a very nostalgic 2005 feel to it, and I don't think there was a single episode where I left going, that was a bit naff. I really, really enjoyed every second of it, and I'm very excited for what Stephen Moffat's got in for us for the Christmas special, and we know that Harbingers are in Season 2, and I'm very excited to see the story continue. Cheers, boys.
Well, we don't officially know that Harbingers are in Season 2.
We don't.
That is
We don't.
That is potentially a photograph that has been seen. So let's all collectively forget that, like Men in Black. I'm trying to avoid set photos, and that's the only one I've seen.
As
I'm like, no, I don't want to know this.
Yep.
I don't agree with the 2005 nostalgia. I don't agree with that in the slightest. But I love that we have all these differing opinions. And, you know, I mean, I've seen people talk about our podcast before in the wild and say that we're very positive about Doctor Who. So, you know, apologies if we're not quite as cheery about this one. But like I said, I don't even think it's like a
the
disappointment.
first full season of Doctor Who we review.
Yeah, it feels like, I think it probably comes across more negative than we're feeling. I think it's just that we want this to be perfect because we know Russell's done perfect stuff before. And I just don't think it was quite what it could have been. Simple as.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I think maybe we're different to the audience on this one, but that's okay. That's okay. I still bloody love the show, and I'm sure you do too, Troy.
Nah, I hate it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
right.
Crispy, let's. He says holding his sonic screwdriver.
Ooh.
Who Apple Podcast listeners, hope you're enjoying that visual.
Nice.
Why did I say that? Let's end this episode. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for listening to episode 116.
Really?
Take 100 off, and that's how long season 14 and 15 will be combined. And as I said, I'm going to be so interested in a year's time to see how we feel about the era so far once season 15's come out. Season 2, series 15, whatever you want to call it. I really, honestly, I'm going to say it right now, I think I'll feel differently about this season once the next one's out, because I'll look at them as a piece like series 6. I really do think that's what's going to happen.
Differently is a big word. For better or for
I can only
worse?
feel 0.5 better about it, and that would be different.
Yep.
So, you know, I'm just getting mathematical with you. So, Crispy, your closing comments?
Thank you, everyone, for this crazy journey that we've been on. But regular scheduled programming will commence as of next week. And we got some crazy things planned, man. Crazy.
Including next week's topic, which we should... Ooh, you know the leak that came out yesterday, Crispy? Should we talk about that as an episode? That's another option.
I don't know if that's real. I don't know if that's real, man.
Should we leave it?
We can leave it.
Let's leave it and wait for an official announcement, because I think if we did that with Billy Gibson, we would have got more out of that when it was revealed as well, the Varada Sethu stuff, because we just jumped on the rumor. Okay, there is a leak at the minute with regards to a spin-off. That might be true, might not. We'll sit on that for the time being. So, next week, unless anything changes with any news broadcast, which of course if it does, you know, this idea will just be carried forward from the week, but we're going to be discussing whether you all miss Chris Chibnall as a showrunner. Now we've seen a full season with Russell back.
Are we doing finales next week?
I thought you said we were leaving that.
No, I swapped that around. My boy.
Oh, so you just had me reveal the one after. Oh,
well, anyway,
God.
people love that kind of stuff.
Well, there you go. You can get excited for that too. We are going to discuss that because I think it's going to be very interesting with regards to, you know, like the kind of the Thanos, perhaps I treated you too harshly kind of meme.
Yes.
Did people feel about Chibnall? But yeah, next week we'll do discussing the best Doctor Who finale. Week after Chibnall, unless something changes.
Yeah.
Does that sound good with you, my man?
Sounds so good.
That's the podcast with a plan, planning live in the episode. So, we'll see you all next week for best finales. Until then, it's goodbye from Mr. Pro of Crispy.
Goodbye.
I'm a scat man, and it's goodbye from John Scatman, Scatman John. See you all next week. Alonzi, baby.
Alonzi.
Got it there.